Here's the film. Goes a bit over an hour. Goes for a bit over an hour by London Real. We Will Not Be Silenced, the YouTube premiere, a film they tried to ban. I think it's going to be pretty good. This has David Icke in it. Doesn't matter what you think of David Icke. Just like it doesn't really matter what you think of Ricardo Bosi. Listen to some of the stuff they've got to say. Do I like Ricardo Bosi? I like a lot of what he's got to say. Yeah. I don't like Ricardo Bosi, no. Why? Because as intelligent as he is, I think he's been taken for a ride. I don't think he even realises he's being used as a gatekeeper. He's holding people back. This whole Q movement, I think, is an AI program designed to hold us back. Could be wrong. I'd love to be fucking wrong. Anyway. David Icke doesn't like Christians. Well, not that he doesn't like them. Okay, I'll come back to you on that one. Not that he doesn't like them, he respects them. Respects us. However, he confuses Christians for religious people. Believe me, there is a huge difference. You call yourself a Christian and go to church and you're stuck in this little limitation of what you're prepared to believe, prepared to do, prepared to say and prepared to accept. You're not a Christian. You're just a religious fucking nutter. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way either. You've been captured into a control mechanism. Right. Here we go. Let it rain, let it snow, don't let it blow.
For a nation that is afraid to let its people judge the truth is a nation that is afraid of its people.
We, the people, tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us.
Freedom means the supremacy of human rights everywhere.
I call upon you to march with me under the banner of freedom, which will save us all and our children.
Classic, beautiful example of how fucking fucked we've become. Look at this for fucking sad.
Freedom of thought is essential to human progress. Freedom of thought begins with the right to ask questions.
We must want our fellow human beings to have rights and freedoms which give them dignity.
Hand in hand with freedom of speech goes the power to be heard. All can be swept away by a government which does not heed the demands of its people, and I mean all of its people.
They may torture my body, break my bones, even kill me. Then they will have my dead body, not my obedience.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Over the past few weeks, our entire world has been transformed. Everything we took for granted has now been taken away. And our freedoms have been replaced with fear. All those rights we fought centuries for have been handed over without a second thought. We all process fear in different ways. I cope by immersing myself in my work. And today, my job is to ask questions. 1 million people will be watching, and they all want answers. Countless others are trying to stop this from happening. At any moment, they could walk through that door or block this broadcast. I'm scared, but I don't know what else to do. I've prepared my whole life for a moment like this. But nothing would prepare me for what happened next.
This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is David Icke.
What happened after that broadcast, Brian?
London Real had an interview with David Icke, was removed from YouTube. If you take that guy off, you just make him bigger.
What the hell just happened?
Have you ever lost the only thing that makes you feel alive?
You are only one piece of content away from termination.
This is the story of how we got censored. How we put everything on the line for what we believed in.
You must stay at home.
How we were betrayed.
Fuck the BBC.
How we fought back.
Awaken to who you really are. Remember.
And expose the truth.
Who benefits? Who is telling me what I can and can't say? Who the fuck are these people?
So it will never happen again.
I want to be with Brian Rose and David Icke in the universe. That is the future, and that will never be defeated.
My name is Brian Rose, and I've been on camera since the day I was born. My parents used to film everything, and I always wanted to do the same. When I was 10 years old, my mom got me a VHS camcorder.
This is 4 Action News.
And overnight, I became a movie director. Yep, that's me. I filmed my cats. I filmed my grandparents. I filmed serial killers. Actually, that's my brother.
The gang, boys and girls.
It was awesome. I thought my dream would last forever. But as I got older, life got serious, and I was told to choose a real job. So I became a banker. But ultimately, it lacked purpose, and over time, it started to crush my soul. Soon, I was left disconnected, depressed, and slowly drinking myself to death. But then something totally unexpected came along and saved me. YouTube.
This is what happens when you give everyone a voice, a chance to be heard, and a stage to be seen. That's the power of YouTube. That's the power of you.
Now, for the first time ever, anyone in the world with a camera could become a star. It was incredible. This was my second chance. And the hell if I was going to miss it. So I quit my job and decided to be a kid again. My idea was simple: to record real conversations with real people and share them with the world.
Hello and welcome to London Real. My name is Brian Rose.
I wanted those with different mindsets, different lifestyles, and different beliefs to speak freely about absolutely everything.
We're not encouraged to analyze. We live in a society that is a result of a particular set of people's ideas.
I called it London Real, and it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
I think the hallmark of our show is getting people to look at their own behaviors, you know, and to look at their own ways of thinking and to question it. Like, why am I doing this?
It wasn't long before people started to notice.
London Real. These guys are one of the coolest up-and-coming podcasts that I've had a chance to listen to.
I've been impressed by the power of a conversation. It had a big effect on me. I mean, I've grown so much as a person this last year. It's probably been the best year of my life.
London Real, bitches.
And soon after, I welcomed rappers, monks, Navy SEALs, politicians, and, yep, even that guy.
Who do you want in the fucking foxhole with you, Brian? You want some mealy-mouthed cunt, politically correct asshole? Or you want somebody that's gonna rip their head off and shit down their neck?
It was like a dream. Next, random strangers started stopping me in the streets, asking for selfies. It all seemed too good to be true. I had never felt such purpose, experienced so much happiness, or connected so closely with a community ever in my life. Thank you, YouTube. We made documentary films, started an academy, and even hosted live events. One thing was for certain. I wanted to do this for the rest of my life.
Take some action. Transform yourself. I really believe our entire species depends on it.
And 2020 was shaping up to be our best year ever.
China has identified the cause of the mysterious new virus.
Coronavirus. The outbreak centers on the city of Wuhan, where the source is thought to be a seafood market. Health authorities there are urging the public not to panic.
The virus. At first, I didn't take it seriously. It was all happening so far away.
Coronavirus. Kung flu.
It's largely under control. Most patients are showing lighter symptoms, and some of them have already been discharged.
But every day, it got closer and closer.
Thailand has reported the first case of the Wuhan coronavirus found outside of China.
And before long, it's all anyone could talk about.
We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
One person passed away overnight.
Coronavirus का पहला positive case.
Se ha confirmado el primer caso de infección.
The coronavirus has hit the UK.
We were bombarded with information.
It's important that we embrace science.
Listen to scientists.
Numbers and statistics and graphs and projections. My head was spinning.
Italy, nearly 200 people there have died in just the last 24 hours.
14 more people across Britain have died.
COVID-19 has killed more than 6,000.
More than 8,000 people have lost their lives. Pandemic is not a word to use lightly.
And as the numbers grew, so did our fear. Suddenly, all the things we took for granted were now at risk. Our health, our families, our businesses, our future. What could save us? Science. Of course. I spent 4 years studying engineering at one of the greatest institutions in the world. Surely the scientists would save us. So I looked for the best doctors and virologists and epidemiologists to invite on my show. But my audience had other ideas. All the comments were suggesting the same person. They couldn't be serious. But the days were ticking by. The world was quickly descending into madness. And we still had no answers. I had had to talk to somebody about this virus before it was too late.
He's been described as the most controversial speaker in the world.
Arguably the most well-known conspiracy theorist on the planet.
He describes himself as a full-time investigative journalist searching for the truth of what's really going on.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you welcome on stage David Icke?
For some people, David Icke is a visionary, a prophet, a hero. To others, he's a provocateur.
Would you describe yourself as a conspiracy theorist?
Well, I look at what officialdom tells us is happening and check it out. And if you can back that up with information, it's not a theory.
Some call him a crackpot.
You say you're one of those people that always questioned the world. You questioned who we are and what we are.
A lunatic.
Do you still think the royal family were shape-shifting lizards?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yes.
But he's also a multi-million-dollar selling author who's written over 20 books. A man who can get 10,000 people to show up and listen.
The fascist global state is not coming because we're not fricking having it anymore.
David has spent the last 3 decades delving into every controversial topic there is. Was 9/11 a conspiracy? Is 5G a technology made to enslave us? Are humans controlled by a cabal of alien lizards? And the list goes on. But London Real has always been about one thing. We speak to people that challenge our beliefs. And anyway, what did I have to lose?
This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is David Icke, the English writer and public speaker known since the 1990s as a professional conspiracy theorist. It's March 18th, 2020 right now. I want to throw some of my views out there, and then I want to hear your views, and I want to have a good discussion about this. I personally don't believe the coronavirus was created by a third party. I do think it occurred naturally. I do believe in the science, and I do believe in vaccines. I'm sure we're going to talk about this. I do plan on getting my flu vaccine and any future coronavirus vaccines, although you might talk me out of it. We'll see. I am now obeying the orders of the government. I'm complying with their requests for information and behavior. I understand and I agree with this policy of social distancing in order to flatten the curve and not to overwhelm our medical system. David, there's an ancient Chinese expression that says, "May you live in interesting times." Some say it's a curse. What do you see in the world?
Right. Well, maybe if I just put some background in place. I've been investigating the mainstream everything for 30 years. So I question everything. And if it stands up, it stands up. But I don't just take it because someone in a suit has told me to believe it.
Okay, but the coronavirus is real and it is dangerous. You do believe that?
Well, not as a black and white, no.
Okay, but it is real?
Obviously, there is a strain of this coronavirus which appears to be different. But if you look in terms of the danger is to a certain section of society. In danger from any virus, including the classic flu, are those that have compromised immune systems.
Well, they say that this is more dangerous and more contagious and what's potentially going to kill more people.
Tell you what one of the punchlines of this virus is. It's the bloody vaccine. Any vaccine for coronavirus will be mandatory. Now, if you can give me a better definition of fascism than the state telling you what will go into your body, then I'd like to bloody hear it.
What if that's the only cure?
Well, is it a cure? Who decides that?
I don't know.
Who decides that?
A scientist might.
Oh, God, science.
Well, science isn't always wrong.
No, but science...
For smallpox, the vaccine works.
Science is massively wrong with the benefit of hindsight. You want to introduce a vaccine. What is in the vaccine, what we're not told is in it, or whatever, we don't know. But, we're all gonna die. Vaccinate me. Don't even think about it. Survival mechanism. But
what if that is the only solution?
Well, who decides that it's the only solution? You know, look at the outcome. What's that great line? Goes back to ancient Rome. Who benefits? Who benefits? That great line, he who most benefits from a crime is the one most likely to have committed it. Let's ask that question. Who benefits from what's happening and what's being justified on the basis of this, quote, virus? Anyone that wants to transform human society into an Orwellian state. And through fear of death and fear of this and fear of that, fear of the virus, billions are acquiescing to the few. That's what happens. And fear always looks outside of itself for what it believes will protect it from what it fears.
What the hell was that? My first guest to talk about the virus. And I get this? There was no science, and I got no answers. I'm back to square one.
From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home. If you don't follow the rules, the police will have the powers to enforce them.
2 days later, governments around the world implemented a total lockdown.
A nationwide lockdown.
It was crazy. Everyone panicked, and everyone complied.
COVID-19 has now claimed more than 30,000 lives around the world.
It was as if Ike's words had become true. And soon his episode became the most watched in our history. While many resonated with Ike, others hated him, filling our inbox with threats and insults. Why was this madman attracting so much attention? It made no sense, but I couldn't get his words out of my head.
Problem, reaction, solution. This is a devastating technique of mass manipulation.
I think we should really be overly aggressive and get criticized for overreacting.
Where you create a problem,
the invisible killer,
blame someone else for it.
It comes from China.
You tell the public through an unquestioning, pathetic media.
Hundreds of bodies of COVID patients.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
The version of that problem you want the public to believe.
The coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades.
I don't think it's a crazy analogy to compare this to World War II.
You want their reaction. You want fear. You want outrage.
China is going all out to contain the virus. This is an infection control squad in training.
You want a reaction of something must be done. This can't go on. What are they going to do about it?
Shoot them dead.
And then those who have covertly created the problem then openly offer the solutions to the problems they have themselves created.
Breaking news, stay at home. That is the order tonight from 4 state governors.
It can't be some of us, it has to be all of us.
Which are changes in society, which advance their agenda.
We are going to take the powers to make sure that we can quarantine people, to make drastic changes to their day-to-day existence.
And soon, an uneasy feeling swept over me. What if Ike was right?
You go and look at your children and your grandchildren in the eye, and you justify to them you doing nothing. Daddy, what were you doing when the global fascist state came in and the economic system was destroyed, and now we have to do everything the state says? What were you doing, Daddy? I was just sitting there, darling. All the bloody best with that conversation.
What was I doing? What if we were being lied to? The world was in total chaos, and I needed some answers. There was only one thing to do. I had to have David Icke back on London Real. I woke up with an uneasy feeling that morning. We were experiencing a total loss of reality. Humanity was passing through its dark night of the soul. When I went to my studio that day, I felt like a criminal, alone in the streets of London, disobeying orders. One thing was real. I could feel something dark surrounding all of this. All of us. I am expecting David Icke to be here and going live in about 2 hours. And look, I'll be honest, I'm a little worried. I'm a little concerned. I'm not one to be paranoid. I'm not one to engage in conspiracy theories, but there's a lot of people out there that would probably prefer this interview does not happen. And look, I know we're gonna get a lot of heat for this, and I've had many people tell me not to broadcast again with David Icke. This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is David Icke. It's been 19 days since you last came on the show. Honestly, I didn't even know if we'd make it to this moment. I thought we might be shut down today. Where do we start?
So, this is the headline to start with, which will shock a lot of people, I'm sure. There is no COVID-19. It doesn't exist. This COVID-19 scam hoax has been designed to create in very fast time the very global centralization of power that I have been highlighting for 30 years was coming. And people have said to me over the years, Brian, a few people can't control the world, that's ridiculous. They've got half the frickin' world locked down under house arrest, tiny few people, in a matter of weeks. What do you mean they can't? They are. People started getting ill, for whatever reason, in China. And the Chinese authorities took genetic material from the fluid in the lungs of people who got ill, only a few, a very small number. They decided that what was causing the illness was a virus, but at no time did they isolate that so-called virus from the rest of the genetic material. Now let's look at this RT-PCR test. The inventor of the test, what did he say? This test should not be used to diagnose infectious disease. 99% of people who have died from COVID-19 in Italy, 99% have had 1, 2, 3 or more other health problems for which they were in hospital or for which they were suffering. We got into this frickin' mess through acquiescence to power. Most of that power, all of that power, is simply our perception that it has power. We now have the chance to break the spell, the mind spell, and see behind the curtain. This cult is terrified of that. It's terrified of fearless people because fear is its currency of control. And you know what? I don't fear them one smear. And that's why I am more powerful than they are. And they frickin' know it. And their biggest fear, because it's over then, is humanity awakening to what the frickin' hell is really going on.
What the hell just happened? There's no fucking way they can just do that. You cannot do this.
YouTube completely removed the entire interview with Ike.
Yeah, it took it fucking down. It took it fucking down.
My first reaction was to re-upload the video, but they kept taking it down. I never would have thought YouTube would have banned our video. Like, why? I don't know what's going on. Our video was banned from YouTube. I mean, this is crazy. I've never seen anything like this. The stream today was the biggest we've ever seen, second most popular YouTube stream in the world today. This can't be right. I had spent 9 years uploading thousands of videos, and never once had anything been removed. What the hell was going on? The next morning, I woke up with a surprise on the BBC website.
YouTube tightens rules after David Icke 5G interview. Any content that disputes the existence of COVID-19 is in violation of YouTube policies. It changed its rules after the BBC questioned why the video was permitted.
Today, I am on the front page of the BBC website, alongside London Real, but curiously, we're not mentioned. And if you read the tone of the article, the BBC is implying that they forced YouTube to take down our live stream yesterday with David Icke. And I brought him on because the last time I checked, as humans in this world, we have this little thing. In America, we call it the First Amendment, called freedom of speech, as in you're allowed to say what you want to say. And this other thing in the same amendment called freedom of press, as in I can print what I want to print. And funny enough, both of those human rights have been taken away today in the middle of a lockdown based on this COVID-19 virus. We're officially on lockdown. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man. The people want to see London Real, all right? The people don't want the BBC bullshit. Fuck the BBC. We were front page news. The whole world was talking about our broadcast.
London Real. London Real had an interview with David Icke. If you take that guy off, you just make him bigger. There's a giant story that this David Icke podcast was removed from YouTube. The idea that only my ideas should get broadcast because your ideas are contrary to my ideas, I'm going to cut off the pipeline. You got to let that exist.
I reached out to YouTube, demanding an explanation. We were a premium account in their partnership program, but I got nothing back. They ignored my emails and refused to take my calls. They were deliberately avoiding me. Something funny was going on here. So I reached higher
and finally got a senior executive on the line.
You were joining a call with 2 other people. Hi, Brian.
There's been a community guidelines that they were about in video stunting on the platform.
Look, I am here to abide by your community guidelines, but I have to state very frankly to both of you that the guidelines, and I would think you would both admit to this, they're so general, they're so vague, they're being constantly updated, that this is the way I feel as a creator, and I would argue many creators feel this way, is that it's completely subjective.
I sense that you are disagreeing with the community guidelines, you disagree with the removal. And so what is important here is the intention, because we do know, and I meet a lot of creators, when there is an intention to comply, creators will do well on the platform. You as a creator who've grown a huge business, and you want to be successful and continue to be successful, and after this conversation, you will continue to follow the community guidelines. You may philosophically disagree with them, but you need to comply with them.
But I wasn't the only one being censored. Every divergent voice got silenced, just like us.
The patients I'm seeing in front of me, the lungs I'm trying to improve, have led me to believe that we are operating under a medical paradigm that is untrue.
We were all labeled as conspiracy theorists. Our thoughts and ideas were considered a danger to public health.
I don't think everybody needs to wear a mask and gloves. You're not immunodeficient and you're not elderly. You should be able to go out without any gloves and without a mask.
We were being silenced.
The game is to prevent the therapies till everyone is infected and push the vaccines.
Right, Taylor's the last 24 hours, thousands of you have sent me messages regarding the Dr. Judy Mikovits interview being taken down, and why was it taken down? Is it censorship? What do you think about YouTube? YouTube can take a video down, and YouTube can even change the goalpost every time.
And soon I started to realize that I've been living a lie for almost 10 years. I trusted the YouTube mission statement to help you share your voice, to create a better world.
The gold button.
Nonsense. They don't give a damn about your message. They don't care about the positive impact you are able to create in your community. For YouTube, creators are just products they can monetize. And you are only useful to them if they can sell your audience to the advertising industry. And what happens if an advertiser doesn't like where their messages are being placed?
A bunch of advertisers fearing backlash removed their ads entirely from YouTube, and during this period, every YouTuber saw a decrease in revenue. Also, Google's valuation dropped by like $750 million in a day.
The advertising revenue is what matters. And in order to make them happy, they have developed some of the most sophisticated techniques of persuasion and censorship known to man. Some of these techniques include modifying the algorithms so nobody can find you.
Guess what just happened? I ended up getting shadow banned on social media. A couple people had mentioned it in comments, bro, you're shadow banned, and I'd think, well, okay, whatever. But then I finally started getting a couple people sending me videos of them scrolling through their timeline, and I'm not in it, and they follow me, or typing my name into the search, and it doesn't show up.
Others directly cut the source of revenue from your videos.
Have you heard of mass demonetization? It's where they're going through different controversial YouTube channels and demonetizing not one, not a handful, not even several, but all of their videos.
YouTube was demonetizing people, and that was one of the ways they got people to self-censor. They demonetized people that talked about controversial subjects. It was like this weird touch and go game where like, who is telling me what I can and can't say? Who the fuck are these people?
Right.
And why are they in my life? Why am I making decisions based on whether or not some fucking dork who has this subjective opinion of whether or not something should be discussed or not discussed?
I'm a little bit freaked out. Like if I say the word coronavirus, I'm gonna be in trouble. So then I don't know if I turn my YouTube channel into the Mr. Rogers Show where I just talk about food and I don't know, the weather.
I actually do understand the frustration, and I hear it, and I can empathize with this. And any decision that will be made based on community guidelines. And I am seriously concerned. And I think, Brian, you had 9 years of the content and the platforms you know.
Right. My first and hopefully my only pause. How many people hate that patronising fucking shit? Oh, I understand your frustrations, blah blah, or whatever. No, you fucking don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's the scripted fucking blah 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 you're fucking told to say. It's supposed to de-escalate the situation. I'll let you all in on a little fucking secret. It fucking doesn't work. It pisses people off. Okay, back to the movie.
Very well. What content works and where you need to look into. Let's go back to 5 years before.
Yeah, we're excited to see more kind of awesome content about like life optimization, mental health, all of that stuff is so great.
I had to make a choice. If I wanted to stay on YouTube, I had to become their passive, compliant, politically correct puppet. And so did everyone else.
Hi, I'm Brian Rose of London Real. How would you like to turn your passion into a business and live your dreams forever in a world full of rainbows and unicorns and puppy dogs?
Just pre-brief the speaker, but if there's perhaps any explicit claims, maybe just skip that out or maybe edit it out. We also believe in freedom of speech, but I guess we have an extension. I would be super mindful about the kind of words you use in the content. Thank you so much, Brian, and we'll be in touch, alright?
InfoWars.
Brian Rose started London Real 9 years ago to fight back against the dehumanization he saw. And he does interviews routinely that get millions of views, but his David Icke interview has 3 million views on his site right now. Was exploding on its way to be like one of those big Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, Elon Musk interviews, one of the biggest podcasts ever. They killed it. But Brian, thanks for coming on with us.
Look, Alex, it's a real pleasure to be here, and I just want to state right away, I'm an advocate for free speech. I always have been, I always will be. For the last 9 years, we've been putting people's opinions out there. Until Monday, everything was fine, and then YouTube decided to ban me. And really, there's a lot of questions that we need to talk about what's going on here, because my rights as a citizen in the UK are now being superseded by these Silicon Valley companies. It's going too far. And yet at the same time, I use them to publish out millions and millions of views a month. But this is a civil liberties issue. This is a freedom of speech issue.
It's gone too far. They are oppressing people. They are bullying people. The truth is they're not a bunch of trendy liberals. They're a bunch of authoritarian monsters. And Congress and the president and the people need to act.
It's frustrating that they decided to pick me and my channel as the whipping boy, but we're the example. And that's what's happening here. And let me just be really clear. Alex, my entire business is based on YouTube. If I get banned, I'm basically out of business. But what I do know is we will not put a cut on our product.
So I get excited talking to somebody like Brian Rose because he's got what it takes for humanity to survive and go to the next level. And we have to find that courage. And then once you find it, you'll find others want to join you. But we all are allowed to have our opinions, aren't we? The idea that if we're not the World Health Organization, then we don't have a right to speak is BS. They want full control. There's no limit to it. They're coming for everybody, folks, because we have the Death Star plans.
Over the next few days, things got even weirder. I checked my other social media accounts. What the? LinkedIn had deleted me. Twitter had blocked our website. Facebook and Instagram made us impossible to find. How could they do this? Next, my Dropbox account, holding all of our content from London Real, was blocked and suspended. I could no longer access our entire archive of videos. Then our PayPal account, with a balance of over $100,000, was frozen. Without money, I was dead. What was next? Our bank account? My personal accounts? This was getting serious. Next, my TED Talk from 6 years ago disappeared.
Okay, another quick pause. But think about that. Because he had everything all tied up in digital platforms and digital currencies, digital blockchain wallets and so forth. Just like that. He's dead in the water. Just like that. Let that fucking sink in for a minute.
Let's broadcast ourselves. Because I'd grown tired and jaded with television and the mainstream media. They were deleting me. My entire identity was being systematically erased right in front of my eyes. Just like I never existed. But how could 10 different multi-billion-dollar technology companies all act at once? Were they being directed by a government? Or something bigger?
The benefits.
Nonsense. Now I'm starting to sound like Ike.
He who most benefits from a crime is the one most likely to have committed it. Let's ask that question.
Who would benefit from canceling me? And then it clicked.
Tell you what one of the punchlines of this virus is. It's the bloody vaccine. So the World Health Organization immediately is running the show on the fake virus, and you've got Silicon Valley, owned by the same cult that owns the World Health Organization, saying we are going to censor anyone that challenges the version of events of the World Health Organization. This is how the cult works. There are no borders.
We are witnessing the biggest business deal in human history. Governments, technology, and big pharma all coming together for a multi-trillion-dollar score. Now I understand. This is an information war.
Misinformation contributed to at least 2,800 deaths.
The media has a very important role in this, particularly the social media and electronic media of all time.
The victims, our thoughts, our judgment, our opinions. The battleground, our minds.
The World Health Organization says the world's not only fighting the pandemic, but also an infodemic.
Where do your perceptions come from? They come from information received. You control the information. You overwhelmingly control perception among those that don't question.
Why use guns, tanks, and missiles when they have weaponized the very technology through which we communicate?
WHO's Risk Communications and Infodemic Management team actively track misinformation.
Misinformation.
Conspiracy theorists.
What they call conspiracies and what have you, and disinformation and fake news. Who decides if it is? They do.
When clowns like this are given platforms to sell their disinformation to millions.
They want absolute control of reality. And I'm in the middle of it, jeopardizing everything.
You look at any situation and the BBC will toe the establishment line and promote nothing but that line and not allow questioning of it every time.
And now they are coming for me. Oh my God. Now I definitely sound like Ike.
I have been off the platform for the past week. And that is because Thursday, 7 days ago, we were given a strike for our channel, which meant I could not upload or live stream on YouTube for 7 days. I do not know how long we are back for. If we get a second strike, we'll be on for 2 weeks. And if we get a third strike, we'll be off the platform. Of course, they can deliver those strikes whenever they want.
You know, the optics of you giving a strike to my channel for a video that's been up for 8 months
that is for hate speech, that's actually very questionable in the middle of all this. You have to admit it doesn't look very good.
You could find the content that is even 10 years old. We'll try because
Sure, I know you can.
Police is involved. Yeah, police is involved, and some police doesn't have to be. We have to be careful.
You don't necessarily need to fight for a channel termination.
Okay, so you're telling me I should expect my channel to be terminated? Put yourself in my seat. I mean, you're basically threatening to terminate my channel basically at any second right now, and I don't know what I can and can't do. And then we heard the news about David Icke. YouTube skipped the channel strikes entirely and went straight to deplatforming him. No warning, no phone call, nothing.
The policy changes all the time, you know. You are only one piece of content away from, termination.
It's only a matter of time before we are removed from that platform. And it pains me to know that that actually might happen. I mean, nearly 9 years, almost 8,000 videos, 500 million views, 2 million subscribers. I know that content has literally saved people's lives because they've come up to me on the street and say, Brian, you've literally saved my life. You saved me from suicide, from alcoholism, from drug addiction. And to think that all of that content is just going to disappear and be gone, it made me get a little emotional and it made me get a little sad. And if you have any favorite videos on London Real, I would recommend you download them now because they might not be there tomorrow. It was the end of London Real. Everything I had fought for will disappear. Everybody will forget these moments. The day that Chris Eubank stood up in front of me and showed the world what a warrior truly is.
The warrior doesn't dream of frontiers. He only sees horizons.
Or when Dan Pena cried, I love you very much. I also hate you very much. We honor you, and to your future. When the Iceman reminded us how to breathe.
If people are wrong, it's because they don't feel good. If you don't feel good, you should. Breathe. Yeah, just breathe. Breathe, motherfucker.
Ido Portal taught us how to move.
We need appreciation every day for this great sun, for this body, for this neck that can glide and move, and the pain-free existence that we have, so we can maintain it and we can sustain it. So the best reason to move is because you can.
When a legend like Jane Goodall showed us how to care.
We need money to live, but it goes wrong when we live for money, and that's what leads to corruption. And that's what's destroying the planet very, very fast. We don't have a big window of time.
Or the pain I experienced when I spoke about my addictions. Did a bunch of fucking lines and then I stopped breathing. Or when Eddie Hall, the strongest man on earth, opened up and showed us what vulnerability truly means.
I made the promise to my nan on a deathbed that I would win the world's strongest man one day. When I arrived, I was talking to her. Within 2 minutes, her heart stopped beating. And I went straight to the gym.
It was here that I had shared my fears without being judged. Sometimes I feel anxious and unappreciative of the things I have. Hours and hours of content, carefully crafted to empower others. to create a more conscious species. All lost. The work of 10 years, my whole life, all gone. You know, when you take away London Real, you take away my entire method of staying me, of coping with everything. I mean, that's what gives me purpose, that's what gives me life, that's what gives me sobriety, that's what gives me everything. You take that away, and then what am I? I'm back to where I'm not doing anything. And we know how that ends. Then I slide back into these self-destructive, nihilistic habits that happen when you're self-centered, which is my default. Yeah, I remember going to buy that bottle, you know, just to get drunk so I could escape my reality that I couldn't handle. And the guilt, the shame, that I would feel like walking around going twice around the store, going in, having to face familiar faces that had seen me the day before, buying 2 or 3 bottles, seeing he's back again. Hey, Brian's back again. Because he can't handle reality. Look at this fucking alcoholic loser who can't even handle 24 hours without being sober. So shameful. He's back again. But then I realized, like, after 9 years at London Real, like, I was a different person. So many guests had come on and changed my life, that had shown me new ways of thinking, new ways of feeling, new ways of connecting. In a weird way, London Real prepared me to lose London Real.
It's not always meant to be fun. If you can't control your own brain and your brain controls you, you're fucked.
Nobility of purpose. That's it. You need to be armed with virtue in order for that not to turn into hell.
Because I want you to be all you can be. Not some fucking reasonable facsimile. I see you 1,000 times more.
It's not what happens to somebody, it's what they do as a result of it.
What if the worst thing that happened to you becomes the best thing that happened to you?
When you lose everything, you realize who you truly are. The pandemic took away everything we had taken for granted. It forced each one of us to face our personal demons. But we were all united in our struggle. This was our fight. And slowly, it was making all of us stronger. And right when I felt the most isolated, the most withdrawn, I realized I was not alone. I'm walking through Hampstead, minding my own business, and I meet these lovely ladies. Hi, how are you? Why'd you stop me?
You cover a lot of issues that people are wanting to, question. People are not getting answers from our prime ministers. And it's just, you know, adult conversation, and I think we should be entitled to have that discussion.
There were people everywhere who felt the exact same way I do.
Just bump into him, seriously.
Brian's not causing any harm, he's not telling anyone to do any wrong. Open your heart, your mind, and actually think for yourself.
This wasn't just me being silenced. It was all of us.
You know, I see you jogging down the canal here, and I think, you know, this gives me a great boost, you know, to know that people like you are brave enough to do what you do.
The real revolution starts within.
Yeah.
So,
that's the message. I love that. That's a great message. And now everyone was fighting back.
I bump into these people every single day, man. All different types, all different economic backgrounds, races, religions, creeds, countries, nationalities. They're all saying the same thing. Keep broadcasting and give us the truth. And we're going to keep doing that.
A movement was forming right in front of my eyes.
You're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. You gotta keep going. Seriously. You are touching people, man.
They called themselves the London Real Army. They got together to fight for their rights. I never imagined this in my wildest dreams. Soon my inboxes were flooded with support. We saw fan art, street actions, and more.
You can call this fella over in Seattle part of the London Real Army.
Brian, keep going, brother.
London Real Army, we gotta make sure, right?
This was totally out of my control. They even created their own rap song.
The London Real Army. Brian Rose and David spreading love with the heartbeat. I tell you right now, you got support from me and a million other people that believe in world peace. He's coming out with the real education. Coming out, this is only information. It's just two people having a conversation. All it takes is a little concentration to the destination where the system's taking. Isolation's got the people breaking. Observation all across the nation. Now we gotta deal with 5G radiation.
Yes, YouTube could take away my platform, but they will never take away this. This is pure human connection, and it will always belong to us.
Just open our eyes and see what is actually going on. The truth does always come out. It's very important, to speak from, out of your mind.
The truth is what really, brings order from the chaos.
Mainstream media is completely dead.
Because you're allowing people to speak freely.
I'm learning. Life is happening for me, not to me, right? If it was happening to me, I'm a victim. Look at all this stuff. No, it's happening for me. This is amazing what's happening this week. It's building me into a stronger person, a better communicator. It's uniting all of us around one message. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, LinkedIn. Thank you, Offcon. Thank you. And that's what this is all about.
We have an army. Now we need a mission. We must get Ike to come back. He is our symbol of freedom of speech.
You will think this. I won't. You won't say that. I will. What they gonna do?
It was Brian who suggested that we needed to get David back.
Our plan was to stream this episode to over 1 million people. And we set a date. We were going to do this in 16 days.
But my immediate feeling after that initial excitement was, geez, how are we going to do it? And then I said to Brian, well, I think we can launch this crowdfunding campaign to develop a new platform, an independent platform, a platform that allows us to broadcast.
We called it the Digital Freedom Platform. Our brand new Digital Freedom Platform. We launched this last night, just before midnight, looking to raise $100,000. I honestly didn't know how long it would take us to do that. Right now, we're sitting, because of you and the London Real Army, at 26,000 of that 100,000.
We hit that first $100,000, that million people, in 18 hours. Just blew me away. I honestly didn't even know if we would get there in 2 weeks.
I want to be with Brian Rose and David Icke in the universe. I don't want to be with these devil worshippers and control freaks. I mean, give me a break, man. I feel the wealth of our community together and the spirit rising. That is the future, and that will never be defeated.
And I'll say a few other things. We will not be silenced. We will not be stopped. We will not be censored. Join the resistance, join London Real, and let's do this. Come on!
The founder of
London Real, you had the largest viewed broadcast on YouTube, second only to a broadcast of President Trump. What happened after that broadcast, Brian?
I've been locked in a battle for our most basic fundamental human right, freedom of speech. Or in this case, what I call digital freedom of speech. And now, Judge, I might not agree with everything you have to say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. So we decided to fight back and keep broadcasting these quote-unquote banned conversations, and we created the Digital Freedom Platform, a censorship-free, independent broadcasting system that is of the people, by the people, for the people.
You've done it, just like InfoWars did. You've built your own platform, and you're building it, and they are coming.
Very much so. And, I think they've been shocked by the way I've behaved. We have decided to fight back. We have decided to stream what we're calling Rose Ike Free. To stream concurrently with 1 million people, not on a major platform of one of the trillion-dollar Silicon Valley corporations, requires a lot of money. My technical guys ran the analysis, and it's $100,000 for that 1 2-hour stream.
For folks that don't know, he puts it out in HD. You want to get 10, 15, 20 million views like we get every few days now? Folks, it is huge amounts of money.
We started a crowdfunding platform yesterday, and in just over 24 hours, we've raised $250,000 for the Digital Freedom Platform.
And you're going to get persecuted for this, but it's just going to get better and better. That's what people to know is they shouldn't be scared of the persecution. Yeah, it's rough up front, but it just gets better every time you go through that storm.
Alex was absolutely right. It's rough at the front lines of the battlefield. And soon London Real had attracted every hater on the planet. Little-known channels use this as their golden opportunity to get more views and attention. But the attacks didn't just come from other media channels. I started receiving insults and criticism from everyday people like you and me. Suddenly our neighbors became this new form of self-appointed police who use these new rules as their excuse to feel powerful and entitled, channeling their fear into hate against anyone that refused to comply. But I guess that's what happens when you go against the approved narrative. And now I can understand what David Icke had been dealing with for over 30 years.
According to his book, The Truth Vibrations, the world as we know it is about to end. David Icke. Was it a great shock for you to discover this at 38?
Well, I think the word is gobsmacked. But again, you know the best way of removing negativity is to laugh and be joyous. So I'm delighted that there's so much laughter in the audience tonight.
But no,
but just let me say this.
They're laughing at you. They're not laughing with you.
Fine.
And I guess as humans, we will always need to put other people down to make ourselves feel good.
We humans have out-sheep the sheep, because at least the sheep need a sheepdog to keep them in line. Humans keep each other in line. And they do it by ridiculing or condemning anyone who commits the crime, because that's what it's become, of being different.
When you've been through that level of ridicule, one of two things happen. Either you disappear from society, or you go, I am me, I am free.
I couldn't afford to pay attention to the critics. Time was running out. First, I needed to build a whole new team. We were a few guys putting videos on YouTube, not a software company. We needed programmers, web designers, and more. And do you remember? We were in lockdown. No one was working.
The death toll from coronavirus around the world has now surpassed 200,000.
We've been working tirelessly trying to build technology that should take years to build and millions of dollars to build.
And outside, the world was getting crazier and crazier.
The British government is now funding 2 multi-million-dollar vaccine trials. Oxford University researchers will begin a safety trial on humans tomorrow.
We've never tested this because we've never had the chance to put millions of people on this player.
Hello, Mr. Rose. We're just calling with regard to your upcoming live stream. We would like to inform you that unfortunately we cannot proceed, but we wish you all the best of luck. Goodbye.
We got a phone call from the provider we were going to use, from their chief executive, and he said we can't work with you. I said why? He said we're making a business decision.
And he said, I can't do business with you. And we argued, and he just said, sorry, you're gonna find someone else. So literally on a Saturday, we're calling up people in Silicon Valley.
And each one ultimately said no. And we all looked at each other and thought, you know, this doesn't look like it's gonna happen. I felt in a moment of personal crisis. I said to my program director, let's give this one more roll. Let's just reach out to one more company. Let's see what they say. And they said yes.
This was a company that live streamed the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
I mean, we effectively had to rebuild our entire technology processes in the studio, outside in terms of how we then broadcast that live stream. I had to work with our development team, with our design team, with our production team, as quickly as we could to be able to make sure that the technology, the new technology, was going to be ready to roll.
We're going to quadruple cast this stream when it goes live. So that means we're going to stream it live on YouTube, on Facebook, on Dailymotion, on Decast. Then the idea is to yank it from YouTube and Facebook 10 minutes in when the controversial stuff happens, and to keep it going on Dailymotion and Decast. Dailymotion is our backup plan in case Decast for some reason pulls, so we can keep the stream going. Okay, we're gonna head in soon and go see David. We've got all our cameras here, a bunch of security people as well, and we're gonna make this thing happen. Good.
Hey!
Mr. Ike.
How are you,
I'm
man?
good. How are you, man? Good to see
Good,
you.
eh?
Yeah, you well? Yeah. Good. Oof. Man, good?
How are you, man? All right? You've done a fantastic job, you fellas. Unbelievable.
Thanks, David. We're gonna go down the back entrance. You know,
Oh, okay.
just to make sure we get you in safe. This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is David Icke. David, I want to thank you for 30 years of tireless work and for your own conviction to fight on. And now I've got one question for you. Where do we begin?
Well, welcome to my world, Brian. And before I say anything, I think what you and your team have done is absolutely magnificent, because the cutting edge, as I know from 30 years of trying to be there, is a very lonely place, and it's the point of the arrow, so there's not many people there. And to do that, to be there, you have to, first of all, have a constantly open mind to information, but you have to have a backbone that won't vibrate. One that says, I'm going to stand up for what I believe to be right. And no matter what is thrown at me, I will go on standing up for what I believe to be right. 30 years of my life has been kind of leading to this moment, certainly leading to this time. And I said to you in the last interview, and some people might have thought it was a bit of bravado, I said, I'm more powerful than them, and they know it. And within minutes of the interview ending, they were proving me right.
I can see here in the number. Jesus, the kind of numbers that I haven't experienced in my professional career. These numbers are just spectacular.
The lockdown has never been necessary, except for two things. One, destroying the livelihoods of vast numbers of people so that they become dependent on the state and control. And two, to say if you want normalcy, you've got to have the vaccine.
This traffic has come from people who want to share this message with other people.
Humans are being pushed apart. Humans are being told to fear each other. Humans are dangerous. Ooh, could they have it? Ooh. Social distancing is not just happening in the same way, 6 feet, 2 meters, in Britain. It's happening in India. It's happening all over the world because it's centrally dictated, and it's there not to protect people from some frickin' virus. They know there's no virus, but to keep people apart. If you're wearing a mask and I'm wearing a mask, there's no facial expression. There's no human interaction. And they want to drive people apart. It's an absolute, totally a psychological game. Whole thing's based on psychology.
I don't want to say too much about this now because the numbers need to be validated, but it looks like we've hit 1.2 million patriots.
We are now living in a global version of Nazi Germany. We are in a state of fascism. What YouTube and Facebook and all these people, Google, are doing in deleting people for no other reason than they are challenging the official narrative, that only happens in fascist or communist regimes. I see a way out of this, but only if you stop acquiescing and say we're not having it and we are going to live our lives as we choose and not as you tell us. We are love, that's what we are. Everything else is what we're programmed to perceive that we are, and that's the enslavement. That's why they want this closed, because once that opens, the world changes. And I'm seeing this in more and more people. They are expanding their awareness and they're starting to see with new eyes. And the key is opening this. You lose the fear that is the human prison, because love does not fear. Love is the absence of fear, as evil is the absence of love. This has a power of its own. Banned by Facebook, banned by YouTube, flies off an elephant's back to this. Because this is what's going to change the world. Because this, closing it, is what's got us into this mess. When I say I have more power than these people have, that's the reason. Because they don't have that. Psychopaths don't have open hearts. They are heartless. That's why they do what they do.
Well, David, I had an experience 26 days ago after our last episode out there where I opened my heart and just said, out of love, the right thing to do is to say no. We're not having it. And the brain said, that's a really bad idea, Brian. And the gut said emotionally, you're making big mistakes.
Exactly.
And when I move forward, I got nothing but other people around the world, millions of them now, that open their heart up and say, yes, yes, we resonate with that move. And it's changed the game entirely. And everything I feared has not happened. None of it's happened. In fact, I've been shocked and surprised with the amount of positive energy that's come my way and our way. And things have literally opened up in front of us and almost charted a course towards this heart-opening experience of just doing it for the right reason.
I'm doing what I know to be right. And that frequency, if you express it in a level where you live it rather than think it, will attract to you everything you need to achieve doing what you know to be right.
What I think is funny is the last 30 minutes we've been talking about love, and this is what they want to ban from people hearing. And that's our conclusion.
You know what?
Love.
They know that is going to bring them down. That's why they don't want us talking about it. They want us arguing and conflicting and shouting at each other. They don't want that. It's their worst nightmare.
David, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
I really appreciate you. All right? I think we've done some great work today. I would say stay safe, but you're always safe. You're always good. You're always putting out the love. And I misunderstood you years ago as well, just like most people do when they first hear about you. But every single conversation we had, David, I said, this man is speaking truth. Thank you. This has been epic. And
that's the way home, people. That's the way home. Open the door and everything changes.
Ike was just the beginning. The Digital Freedom Platform became the place where anyone could speak in an uncensored way.
So you could see the corruption, you could see the payoffs for the scientists who would take the money rather than tell the truth about the data. Propaganda masquerading as science.
We no longer needed the tech companies to stream our messages to the world.
It's not just your right to speak, it's my right to listen.
Over the next 2 years, we streamed over 50 episodes and 3 documentary films.
The 3 phases of truth, right? The first is ridicule, second is violent opposition, and the third is accepting it as always having been known as the facts.
The media in our country is an extension of the pharmaceutical industry. You know, 75% of advertising revenues now in the mainstream media are now coming from pharma.
Some have referred to it as mass formation psychosis, this hypnosis that has happened in the population. We even have Mr. Gates now talking about that the threat of the virus was overstated.
As time passed, the truth started to come out, and more people started speaking freely without fear.
And as more and more information gets out over time, it will show what happened, how they were suppressed, how there was active campaigns to silence them, and how those campaigns were funded. And that's what we're finding out right now.
Free speech is the foundation of a free society. That's why it's the first freedom guaranteed by the government.
I want to put everything on the table versus saying, no, there's one thing we can't put on the table, and that's the cause of the vaccine.
How a lot of the stuff that they called misinformation in the past that would get kicked you off is now mainstream news.
A lot of what we were told is now being revisited.
The FBI has for quite some time now assessed that the origins of the pandemic are most likely a potential lab incident.
Today we have a glimpse of what was going on behind the curtains.
Musk has released an incriminating stream of internal documents revealing what some experts assess to be proof of shocking government censorship at the highest levels.
Does the BBC hold itself at all responsible for misinformation regarding masking and side effects of vaccinations, and not reporting on that at all? And what about the fact that the BBC was put under pressure by the British government to change its editorial policy. Are you aware of that?
And soon, we will experience another wave of fear.
The next pandemic will not wait for us.
And the threat of another pathogen emerging with even deadlier potential remains.
Today, everything is back to normal. The pandemic is now a vague memory, like a bad dream. Everyone has gone back to their lives, like nothing ever happened. We forgot how they used fear to take away our freedoms, how they silenced our voices and stopped us from listening. You probably think this will never happen again, but it will. We made this movie so you will never forget.
Come on, let's do this. Let's do this. Good evening, London Reeler. Welcome to the world premiere of London Reel's 6th feature-length documentary film, We Will Not Be Silenced. This is our fight for this most basic fundamental human right, and that is freedom of speech. It's that simple. Now, a lot of you know that 4 weeks ago, London Reel was completely deplatformed from YouTube. But when they silence us, they show us how powerful we truly are. You know, London Reel has been, it's been the greatest thing of my entire life. These last 12 years have been the best of my life, thanks to you and all the energy that I got from you around the world. And so I want to thank you for this crazy adventure. But I don't want to stop there. I want to thank a few other people. I want to thank the folks at YouTube. And I want to thank the folks at Facebook. I do. I want to thank the folks at PayPal and at Dropbox and at LinkedIn, all the people that got rid of me in 2020. I want to thank the folks over at the BBC. I do. I want to thank the governments. I want to thank Ofcom. And I want to thank them for the following reason. Because before I was an advocate for free speech, but now I'm a fanatic. All right? A fanatic. Now, every hour of every day, I am going to be accelerating this mission. Now I know exactly what I'm going to do the rest of my life. Thank you. Because ultimately, we will not be silenced, we will not be censored, and we will not be stopped. Rather fitting. Rather fitting. As we started to get towards the end of that, I thought, yeah, what time better than the present? Then to start drafting my final polished copy of my statement to court, my statement to the magistrate. Which shall be read before the court case even starts, in an explanation as to why I'm representing myself and why I'm there on behalf of everyone. Other than that, I shall not elaborate or shall not disclose, as you should never show your opponent where your best strike comes from. Bye-bye. And God bless.